Hello, this is Greg Hayes. This topic is on Donald Trump and his plans to take some Middle East oil in an effort to block funding to terrorism. And my views on that is I think it's a good idea. and I've thought it was a good idea for a long time that we should get something for these wars we're waging. We seem to be the world's policemen, and yet we don't get paid for the job. How many cops out there would do their job if they didn't get paid for it? Um, and um, it's part of the reason why we run such huge deficits. It's part of the reason why we can't have social programs like universal health care or single payer and free education is because they're spending so much on the military and spending so much on these foreign wars and getting nothing for it. And money, I don't know. I'm an accountant, so maybe my view is different than other people's, but I see money as being pretty important and something that makes the world go around, and profitability is something that you should shoot for. And we're currently fighting these very unprofitable wars. Historically, war, if you go back even just 100 years ago, was fought for material gain. And I don't know. I guess you could argue the Civil War had no material gain other than freeing the slaves, and maybe that did spur some technological advances once that free labor was gone. But taking the land from the Indians, I mean, that was for material gain, those Indian wars. Fighting the Revolutionary War, a lot of it was taxes. We didn't want to pay taxes to England anymore, and so it was fought for material gain. And the Roman Empire, all their conquest, that was done for the gain of land. The wars, all the wars fought in the New World was fought to gain land or gold. So I don't understand now why, because we have this fiat currency, we think it's a good idea to fight unfunded wars and then not have any social programs at home. It's stupid. Either we should get something for fighting the war or we shouldn't fight it at all. And he also makes the point that these terrorists couldn't do what they're doing unless they had money, and they get their money from their oil. So a lot of it is just the military industrial complex and their need to constantly justify their huge outsized existence. Nobody else has a military as big as the United States, and it costs a lot of money, and it increases our debt and makes us unable to have social programs that we should have, that other countries have, because they don't have these outsized militaries. So he makes a good point. We shouldn't be fighting unprofitable wars that are unprofitable for the average American. These wars are highly profitable for defense industry companies and for those in the military and for those getting paid with money from that our grandkids are going to be earning, because these things aren't even being paid. The money's just being borrowed. So the idea that there should actually be a material objective to war is just genius. It's actually not genius. It's just so obvious. And it's just, Americans have become such idiots, and they've become so beaten down by the military-industrial complex that they're willing to accept these unfunded wars. With the military-industrial complex would love this war to go on forever, because the longer it goes on, the more money they make. And if it ever dried up, I mean, there'd be layoffs in those sectors. People would have to go out, and ultimately society would be doing less in the military, and they'd be doing more to educate and keep our citizens healthy. I mean, I don't see the downside to that. So Trump is he's a unique Republican. He's been in favor of universal health care, single payer, before. He's criticized Bush, and he brings a unique perspective to the Republican Party. He brings a reality check that I like a lot. And the reality is, you can't fight unprofitable wars forever without going bankrupt. So, or without sacrificing services that we need here at home. So his idea to either, if you're going to fight a war, get something out of it, take the oil, or at least use it to block your enemies from getting their money. Makes a lot of sense to me. And the media is, of course, owned by the same corporate interests that are in cahoots with the military-industrial complex. And so Trump is the only one with the common sense to see through the baloney and see that Americans shouldn't be fighting wars unless they're going to get something for it. Out.